could you introduce yourself and explain what you do in business and maybe an overview of what services or products you offer as well?
Okay, so my name is Tang. I mean, everybody in the States call me TJ because it's hard to pronounce Tingji, Ting, right? So I
Hmm.
started my business back in 2015. Our company has been focusing on providing the downhole chemicals and downhole fluids for fracking industry. I don't know whether you're familiar with the frack or not, but frack is one of the two technologies that enable the shale revolution, right? So because of the shale that make the American energy independence about 3, 4 years ago. So U.S. right now has about over 13 million barrels of oil per day. Out of the 30 million barrels, over 8 million barrels are coming from shale oil, right? So that's why what the product that we provide is focus on this shale fracking industry, right? So we have both the dissolvable downhole frac plugs, and also we have the downhole chemicals, downhole fluid that facilitate the frac.
Hmm.
So I started the business back in 2015, um, and right now we have business in Canada, in the headquarters in the States, and we also have operation in Saudi Arabia. We trying to start our business in UAE as well, in Abu Dhabi. So I also have a subsidiary company in China. Of course, everything made in China, right? Most of the stuff made in China.
Right.
So all these couple countries, we have about 15 to 18 people working for us. So also, you see, asking me how I started the occupation is kind of interesting. So I got my PhD in 2006, focused on polymer materials, right? Materials chemistry. At the time, I really want to go into semiconductor industry, right?
Mm.
High tech, I call that.
Right.
Then as I started working for a small company called Science, we were working on photoresist at the time. Deep in my mind, I also want to go work for the big companies, right? Corporations.
Hmm.
You're talking about the in the States that they have like over 50,000 people, all that kind of stuff. That's why I keep trying for about a couple of years, about 3 years. I couldn't get into this big company in semiconductor, like Intel, IBM, or whatever. So then I met a professor at I was working in Rolla, Missouri at the time, Science. That's where they are located. And there's a professor that in petroleum engineering departments, he needs somebody that knows chemistry background to synthesis, right, on polyacrylamide, which is a major powerhouse fluids for fracking, a friction inducer, polyacrylamides. So he asked me whether I could synthesize or not. I said, yeah, of course. I said, I'm a chemist, right? I could synthesize all those chemicals. So what I did is during the day, I worked for Science, right?
Mm.
That's my daytime job. Then I have nighttime job. What I did from Monday to Thursday, I work from 8 to 12, around 7:30 or 8 o'clock to midnight. So 4 hours. So every 4 days per week. Then on the weekends, I do another 4 hours on Saturday. So after working with him for about now 10 months, something like a year, so there's opportunities starting coming in for me for the oil and gas industry, right? I don't know whether you're familiar with the big companies like Schlumberger or Halliburton,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That's how I started to get interview with them. Then I landed the job with Halliburton. So that's why I said, okay, I'm going to quit the semiconductor industry. At the time, I
Hmm.
think it's a glorified industry, right? Then I started joining Halliburton, become a senior research principal scientist for them to working on how to making fracking fluids. I was starting in Denton, Oklahoma. Then we came to Houston, Texas. That's how I started my career in current oil and gas industry. So by taking a challenge from whatever the professor presents to me, so I take that job as a noontime job, and turns out to be I think this is my career right now. I've been doing this business for 15 years. So yeah,
Very interesting. So I
yeah,
guess like with other people I've talked to, it's kind of like you just found yourself into it because you took an opportunity.
yes.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you a story that back when I graduated from UT Austin with my PhD, I was so much into semiconductor or nanotechnologies, right? I want
Hmm.
to work for this high tech. My passion is in the high tech because UT Austin, there's a lot of people working on the gas fields, but I think, man, oil and gas is a kind of, Newton three laws, physics laws. You can solve all the problems in here. I said, no, I want to do something fancy. Turns out after about another 3, 4, 5 years, I still went to the oil and gas industry. That's what the
Hmm.
Longhorns is for, I guess. So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
So I guess on that note, how did you start your business then? Your own right, your own company.
Yeah, I owned my own company. That was back in 2015. I don't know, you were still young at the time. 2015 was a
Yeah, yeah, I
downturn,
was very
right?
small.
We're at downturn at the time. The oil was $147. All of a sudden it become something like a 30, $40, right? There's a big downturn at the time. Of course, there's company restructure. The company that I worked with at the time, there's I think they trying to cut my salary by I forgot how much. It was quite a bit. I said, man, I'm not gonna work at that salary. So I said, I see at the time I see the fracking or dissolvable, downhole tools is gonna be the next disruptive technology in the industry, right? Because I've been in the fracking industry at that time about 5, 6 years already. With my PhD background, I know okay, this might be something that's going to be changing the industry. That's why since then, I mean, I've been focused on this only fracking technology for 10 years, right? So I don't chase something that other people is chasing for, right? A lot of things people start to buy wellheads or flow lines, or valves, whatever. You can easily buy them from China and resell them, right? Because I think no, I want more focus on technology based, right? So
Hmm.
that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. I see dissolvable all this new innovative fracking fluids is the next big hits on frack industry. And turns out, I think I make a good bet, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I see. So then, when you were like my age, so I'd say like 17, 18, and in college perhaps, did you always want to go into high tech as well? Or is it
No, no, at
different?
the time, let me tell you, CCTV in China, right?
Yeah.
They always have it 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Your mom and dad knows that.
Hmm.
National news, 30 minutes every night. There's one time I think maybe my graduate school. I mean, in high school, maybe. I was watching the TV. I think there's a scientist wearing a suit, with the glasses on there. He got
Hmm.
interviewed by the, Chinese national news.
Yeah.
He was doing something like a nanotechnology or material science. I said, man, that's cool. I want to be a scientist. That's what I planned something in my mind. I said, I'm going to be a scientist, right? Then of course, I chase my dreams, right? I go to my undergrads. I go to my graduate school in China. You ever heard of Peking University over there?
I have. Yeah.
Peking University, like Harvard over here, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
I got my master's degree there. Then I came to UT Austin for my PhD. After that, chasing my dreams to become a scientist, working for semiconductor industry, right? Doing a lot kind of photosist and on nanotechnology. Then I joined Harvard and I'm doing fracking fluids, still a scientist. But then I starting to look around. I mean, within about 3 years, 3.5 years with Harvard, I got about 25 patents. So I know how to making new stuff, right? Innovative stuff.
Hmm.
Then I can see there's so much, scientific advisor, senior scientific advisor, or even fellow at Harvard. After they working for Harvard 30, 40 years, I mean, I see where I am after, 20, 30 years from there. I started thinking, man, TJ, really, this is what we wanted to do for the rest of your life? Then I started to think about, whenever you work in the company, there are both technical skills, the people skills, right?
Right.
Then the opportunity came in. I just sort of seeking the opportunity. I said, okay, maybe I'm starting to. I'm not saying technical skill is not good. I'm just saying though technical skills plus people skills can make you run something different, right? That's
That's true.
why
That's true.
that's what got me into this. I said, man, I'm not gonna stay in Heidelberg and doing the same thing for 30, 40 years. As then I started to do something that can go beyond myself. I said, okay, maybe I can develop a technology, just focus on it, start selling it, right? So that's what came in. Then downturn came, the salary. I don't think I need that salary
Right.
to support my family. I take a bet. I counted how much money I have in my bank account. Then I start my business. It's not easy, but I was there. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Slightly unrelated question, but what
Yeah.
made you decide to come to UT Austin?
Oh, at the time, I mean, UT, that's the offer that got the best offer.
Oh,
Another one
so
is Kansas
so you
State.
you got
So,
a wait, so you got an offer or how did you
oh,
like
I applied for graduate school, right? At the time,
oh okay, I see,
yeah.
I see, I
So I
see. It
took
makes yeah.
GRE test, I took TOEFL test. Then UT offered me, a scholarship to
Right.
come to study PhD for the PhD over there in 2002. Yeah,
I see, I see. All right, that
yeah,
makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah. I think
Um
your dad came into the States through working, right? That's what he came.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say
Yeah.
so my mom did the very similar thing to you. She took the
Okay.
academic route. So she came over to do graduate studies. here for
Yes.
epidemiology. So similar story there.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Um, okay, so I guess on this note of your personal background then. So throughout all your experience, do you have any interesting or memorable stories you'd like to share? So these could be related to like major challenges that had you learned some kind of lesson or just something very funny or thought-provoking.
No, this is I was thinking about this question. Uh, let me show you what I have. Could you see this? You probably can see
Yeah,
that.
I can see that. I can see that.
This is my revenue that I was having from a company. You can see there's a big dip in 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see, I was on the projection of something like, that year I was doing expecting to do at least six or maybe whatever. But all of a sudden I only got like I think half during that half of that year, the business I just don't know what happened to the business, right? So at the time, what I did is I voluntarily reduced my salary by 40%, right? Then I say I think it's still because whenever your revenue goes down like that, right? You have a huge dip on there. You're gonna see, wow, okay, what you gonna do? First, you're gonna cut the cost, right? So I already have 4 or 5 people with me at the time. I starting to cut my salary by 40%. They still couldn't go well. I started talking to people, talking to my other employees. I said, hey, man, companies are not doing well. I still want the people on board. I don't want to just let people go, right? So what I did is we have people like I said, hey, I mean, you can take 1 day off, per week. Basically, I have the 20% pay cuts for them, right? So they do it on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, so that each day there's one people off, right? Something like that. So I mean, after about the 6 to 7 months, I mean, we did that. That's a teamwork, sort of, right? Then also at the time we were trying to focus on the markets in Saudi Arabia, right? In
Right.
Saudi. So I mean, we still at the time, even though I cut on the salary kind of stuff, I didn't slowing invest in that clients, right? Turns out, I mean, 2024, 2025, right now the Saudis our second biggest clients right now, Aramco, right? So what I'm trying to say is during that time, so you got to find ways to, how to, whenever you have a difficult time, either you cut your cost or increase your revenue stream. At that time, also I received a text message at the time. One of our suppliers, the CEO said, I mean, the engineer manager says, okay, he likes our products, I like our services. And then the CEO said, maybe Five Star is our competitors in Saudi markets. I don't consider them. Wow. I said, that's a big hit, right? That's my top clients at the time, even in 2023. I mean, I said, oh, I mean, I just trying to explain to them, right? So we are a service company, we provide a turnkey solution. Some of the clients only need some raw materials, some clients need some parts, some clients need a final products, a turnkey, that to make a product suit their needs, right? So it's not like I totally cut off with the clients. I'm just saying still, during the July 4th, you still send them, hey, happy July 4th. I mean, during like a Independence Day, hey, happy Independence Day, all that kind of stuff. Still occasionally, hey, let's grab a lunch, all that kind of stuff. We don't talk about business. But that's what we did. Even though the clients just trying to cut me off from them, I still keep engaging with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just totally just let them just say, hey, let them just drift away. No, we don't. We still keep communicating with them. We still trying to establish relations with them. Turns out, immediately at the end, I think there's one time one of the guys telling me the senior VP says, no, the product and services you get provide the price or the cost competitive price. It's not wise to pass it to let it pass, right? So eventually it still came back to stick with us, right? They understand our business model. We're a small company. We have a business model. We have raw materials level, parts level, and the finished product level. That's what we provide. We provide the product and the services. Finally, they understand that, and right now that clients still our biggest clients, right? So yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
so you instead of letting them go to the competitors or something, you want them back because you kept
I want them
engaging with
back.
them.
It's not like I push them so hard. I'm still say, hey,
Right.
Happy Independence Day. I still just try to, hey, you want to every month also? I say, hey, you want to grab a lunch?
Hmm.
Grab lunch is only for talking about the kids, right? Talking
Yeah.
about the games, football games or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But we don't want to say, hey, you have the hour stuff. We don't. So keep still
Yeah, yeah.
you totally don't just let them to, totally isolate them. You don't, right? You
Hmm.
still just once in a while text a message, hey, how are you, Carl? Right? It's all that kind of stuff, right? So
Hmm.
that's eventually, I mean, that's one time it's really struck me that time the supply chain, the people that place orders said, our senior VP said, man, it's not wise to pass your
Yeah,
pass your
yeah,
code
yeah.
on, man. So yeah, that struck me. I
Interesting.
said, wow, okay. Then all of a sudden I was thinking the last 4 or 5 months, if I was to choose like not to even follow up, you know what's gonna happen, right? Then you're gone. But no, I don't.
Mm.
Yeah.
So doing so helped you get your revenue back up,
Yeah, revenue back. That's why you
I
can see
see.
our revenue in 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you,
went
you
back. Yeah,
got
I
you
see.
can see that. I cut back on track, right? This
Hmm.
year we already at the August of this year we already at first 7 months we already passed the revenue of the last year. So yeah,
I see.
yeah.
So, similar to this, do you have any advice from your experience that you like to share to young people like me or people who are like interested just getting into business?
So I mean, you seem to be very intelligent young kids. I
Thank
mean,
you,
I heard
thank
a lot
you.
of story from your dad. So what I learned from all this, though, right? So it's one thing that I think you got to have a sort of knowledge based. You got to build up that knowledge base. You know what you're good at, right? Especially for me, like I know the industry, right? So the on the gas industry, I know, okay, that's how I bet on my uh the product that I'm doing is going to be dissolvable frac plugs, dissolvable downhole tools, and chemicals, right? That's what I know my knowledge. I have experience in it. So I make my good judgment at the time. Say, okay, this is what I'm going to stick to. And of course, during the 10 years in business, you're going to hear a lot of story. People say, okay, this guy doing this business, they start a business, they do $10 million sales next year, right? They're selling this. You can say the other people starting this, they do like $50 million sales a year. So you heard this noises all the time. But you just have to, for me though, I only stick to one thing. I don't chase the money that the people trying to talk, right? I don't chase the money. I chase the judgment that I made. I said, okay, this is the thing I'm going to stick to. You know, the product or service that I provide. I keep doing it for 10 years. I believe in if you know something, you keep doing it for that's a whatever 10,000 hours, you're good at it. That's why
Hmm.
every single downhole frac plugs, either composite dissolvable or every single fluid industry, I know them, who is making them. I know what kind of design it is, what kind of fluid system they were using. I know all those because that's what I only do for the last 15 years, 5 years with the company, with the corporation, and 10 years by my own company. That's how I
I
say it,
see.
right? You have the knowledge, you accumulate the knowledge base. Then you, based on your knowledge base, you try to make a decision and say, okay, this is what I want to chase. When you chase
Hmm.
it, don't chase just only money around, right? You
Hmm.
chase your product. You make your product that are worth for people to use it. So yeah.
So it's like having, you're saying like you have your skills and then you have your goal in mind, but instead of just chasing that money, that endpoint, you kind of like just focus on improving your product, improving the process, and it'll naturally come to the endpoint,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a
The
lot of
product and
sense
service.
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so similarly on this note of advice and experience and guidance, so how do you personally balance your short-term planning, or your long-term planning, and your short-term goals versus your long-term goals?
Man, I mean, shorter term goals. I always have a long-term goal, right? So
Hmm.
long-term goal is okay. So I say this is like okay, this is what how I want to have a good impact for the people that around me, right?
Hmm.
That's how I always build upon everything that, okay, people asking me, "Hey, what's the meaning of you that you come to this world, right? So my answer is always like, my long-term goal is that because whatever I do or whatever I did, that can have a positive impact on people around me,
Hmm.
maybe even strangers, whatever, you go to China sometimes, you open the door for somebody, people are going to look at you and say, oh, really? You opened the door for me? You go to big mall. I mean, you can see that kind of looks. This, okay, what you do that? I mean, to become natural, something like that, right? You can put a little smile on somebody else. This makes your day. So this is what I trying to say, that's I trying to say I make a positive impact by how either people that work for me or people who work with me have a positive impact on their lives. The short-term goal is trying to I have a list of I could try to gain maybe in order for you to diversify your product base, client base, you probably have to build at least one or two clients per year, right?
Hmm.
So you're trying to get more clients every year. That's what that short-term goal is per year basis is that. The long-term goal is I want to say by the end of my, let's say by the end of my 85 or 90 years old, I said, okay, TJ, you've been running 85, 90 years. This is a positive impact you made for your friends, your family, or even strangers, right?
Hmm.
That's what I always want to do. So I want to, yeah, I told my kids I want to found a foundation. So
Mm.
yeah.
So you have the vision of long-term vision of like just helping people that you can, and that's your big goal, big strategy, and you just work towards it, right? Like and
Yes.
you plan individually. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I see. So then, to sort of shift gears a little bit from your personal background to the policy making side of things. I don't know how much experience or expertise you have here, but I just want to hear your thoughts. So do you have any thoughts on the recent tariff changes by this current administration? Some perhaps potential impacts or any other concerns you have or other ideas?
This is actually the tariff. I mean, I like all my stuff is about 85%, at least 85% of our products are made in China,
Right.
right? This tariff, I remember back in April, that's April, they have the Liberation Day. I
Hmm.
said, man, I started sending off a quote, I think every 2 or 3 days. I told my clients I can't even keep up with the tariff changes. This is between two countries. It's really not it's really not something that for the small business like us, it's really not easy to handle, right? Because
Right.
basically you handle with the supply chain all the time. You change the code every 2 or 3 days. It's pain in the butt. Also, I do have another thought is another thing. I know how the stuff made in China, how fast and what kind of lead time they could compare with the stuff made in the States. There's the machining cost, the labor cost, that kind of stuff. I do have one thing I told my friends is a manufacturer, like people that work in manufacturing in China, a labor, let's say he works
Mhm.
like, 7 days a week. His family might be about 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 miles away from them, right? But the guy stay in the factory for 7 days a week. He only go back to his hometown for during the Moon Festival or the Spring Festival. The guy
Mhm.
got paid $1,500 a month, and the guy is super happy. He made a good life out of there. But on comparison in the States, if you pay somebody work for you 12 hours a day, right? In China, people 6 a.m., 6 p.m., right? They have no
Mhm.
weekends most of the time, most one day. You pay somebody over here in the States, you let them to work 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, you pay them $10,000 a month. Nobody's gonna work for you, period, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how much productivity can be different. So there's no way in 50 years the US will catch up on the supply chain. No way you can bring back the manufacturer, no matter how Trump is robbing it. I mean, no matter how I say it, this is no now coming back. Okay. I've been dealing with the China manufacturing for 10 years. I know the differences. Okay. I know the difference. There's nothing's gonna come back. But
I
a lot of
see.
people just don't know that, right? Just don't know that the productivity in China and the productivity in the States, there's no comparison, period. So yeah, that's why
Hmm.
no matter how the tariff works, that's why this time, U.S. and China, I don't know how they're going to work out. They have to work out together with each other because there's no supply chain coming back based on the
I
tariff. I
see.
think I think a tariff is stupid.
I see. So you think that, it has impacted your business, I guess quite a bit, but also you think it's just not the strategy we need, right? Because based
It's
on
not the
the
strategy we need.
I see.
So when you think about the capitalism, right? So
Hmm.
capitalism is trying to maximize the return.
Yeah.
How? Right? Either reduce the cost, increase the final sales price. Increase the final sales price, you bring up inflation. Cut the cost. What you do? You go to places that make stuff cheap.
Hmm.
You pay somebody $1,500 a month, I pay somebody $10,000 a month.
Right.
The money knows where to go, right?
Hmm.
So see, yeah.
It, I see. So it's just very hard to compete with China on that matter.
Yeah, no matter
Yeah.
during the campaign what you say, but in 50 years you can't bring back, no way. And there's a culture difference between Christian culture and I call the East Asia culture, right? When
Mhm.
you see the rising of the four dragons, you ever heard of that term?
Uh, I
Taiwan, Singapore, Hong
yeah,
Kong, yeah,
yeah.
because they are from East Asia as well. So the people
Mhm.
in East Asia, people can work overtime. That's our culture. We start with agriculture industry, right? People work like there's no like 8 hours a day. No, they don't. They think they can work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for sure. I mean, that's what they do. They don't say, oh, 8 hours a day and they're looking for overtimes. No, they don't.
Mhm.
That's something built into their mind. They say, okay, hard working is in their blood, in their mindset. It's different,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
the Western culture, you got what you paid for, right? So yeah,
I see.
you got paid
That's
for
very
what
interesting.
you do
Very
for it. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. It's a totally different mindset. So there's no way. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's, cultural differences, yeah. That's something I feel like the administration will not very much understand because,
they
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
And also, one simple thing, okay? Tariff. I pay tariff. I pay hundreds of $1,000 tariff as of this year already. I'm a US company. I
Hmm.
paid it. My
Yeah.
clients in China don't pay for that.
Right, right. And then yeah,
Simple.
yeah, yeah.
You US company, importer pays the tariff. I
Hmm.
mean, there's no way you can let the people in China reduce their cost by 50%. No way. They already cut their price at the bottom, it's chasing to the bottom already. The manufacturing cost, the labor cost in China. They already been at the cheap already, right? You can't cut their cost by 50%. No way. So it's me is paying all those, right?
I see, I
Yeah.
see.
Then what I have to do, I have to pass it on to my clients in the States. I have to,
Mm, right.
right? Because yeah. So still, eventually, I pass to my clients. Then my client use it for making oil and gas. The oil get more expensive, right? So it's a chain reaction, man. It is. Yeah. China don't pay for tariff, okay? Period. Vietnam
Right.
didn't pay for tariff. Taiwan, no.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then my last major question would be kind of similar to the policymaking side of things. So if you could do something in government, or you could tell government to do something, what would you advise them to do on how we can improve the small business environment?
No, that's something that I think, man, it should be making something easier for us. In small business, I think it's still the major working horse for
Right, right.
American
Yeah, that's true.
labor force, right? So to give you one example, I mean, Stafford, we run our companies located in Stafford. Used to be Stafford is easy to do business, right? You do come here, you form a company, move over here, so easy. We moved in last year in this location. No, 2024, June, May of 2024.
Hmm.
It takes about 14 months or 13 months to get our fire and marshal inspection done. And
Hmm.
also our occupation certificates. They were just, I mean, I don't know what happened to Stafford. I mean, so they make it so hard for a small business to get those. So then I got to impact on all the insurance policy, all kind of that I'm having. So it's a chain
Hmm.
reaction. So, because let's see the fire marshal, right? You went there 20 times, you can only see person maybe once. You ask them to come, they check, okay, go back and work on it. Then we work on it, so then it takes another 3 or 4 months to do all this kind of stuff. It's really not easy. I think there should be a streamlined process for small business to do, right? Because a lot of people, when they do small business, they take a leap of faith,
Hmm.
right? They start a business, they take a leap of faith for them. they use their savings. I use my savings. When I do my business started, I have quite a bit of savings. By 2017, my savings go down to I can only have about a month and a half. If I don't have more business, then I'm gone. I'm broke.
Right.
I already have my car registered for Uber driving at the time already, right?
Oh, wow.
So then all of another clients, they say, hey, TJ, I choose to believe you. They're starting to give me business. That's what we're saying though. You always remember your first order. You also remember somebody that you think you're gonna broke. He's starting to believe in you, that you start using your products. That clients, even though they are not my clients no more, but I still appreciate, the trust they give me at the time, right? So yeah. Yeah, just saying though, I think the government or the local governments should give us some pretty easy for small business to deal with, right? Instead of giving them a 13, 14 month when
Right,
they
right.
get the certificates, fire and occupancy certificates, all that stuff. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually, a lot of the other people I've talked to have said like the exact same thing. Make it easier for small businesses to start, streamline the processes, improve things like access to like SBA loans to make their lives not so difficult, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I have a small SBA during the pandemic, but yeah, of course. Especially like I said, people take a leap of faith for their family, right?
Right.
You started, you still have your kids young, your parents are getting old, you have lots of responsibilities.
Hmm.
Take a huge leap of faith. So I think the government can help to streamline the process. That's what means let them to start. Let them give them a good start, right? So let them have an easy start. At least on this from deal with the government side, then they can focus on bring their product and services to their clients. So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so then looks like we got through all my questions,
yeah,
pretty quickly. That's good. I don't want to, keep you here for too long because I'm sure
no
you have
problem.
so many things to do today.
Yeah,
Um, but I really do appreciate you coming on here today to give your experience and you share your
sure.
advice. It was very helpful. I certainly learned quite a bit. It's very interesting because you're the first person who I talked to who has a background in like tech, basically. So it's very
Exactly.
interesting to hear your perspective. Definitely
Okay.
very interesting.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Um, yeah.